Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I've already done it a couple of times with the instructions that pertain to overlay doors. But my question, and I hope it's not presumptuous to ask you, your YouTubes were helpful. What happens when we mortise, if we were to mortise the back plates of that hinge type into the face?
Is this hardware that you already have?
It's hardware we've used in the past. And I need to buy some more because we have a couple of more doors we need to hang, and we were thinking about hanging them the same way we've hung them in the past. So we have used the 342 Stanley hinge to mount flush blind doors. Instead of making them overlay, we make them flush and make them, blind doors with ring pulls for blah, blah, blah. And we use the Stanley hinge in situations where the homeowner doesn't want us to screw with the floor. In other words, we can't mount a pivot into whatever the surface of the floor is, and that's typically in situations where the floor is stone. And they don't want us drilling into the stone. So do you understand the geometry of those hinges to understand why the 342 is specific for overlay doors and the 340 and the 341 can do flush mounts? What's the difference? Do you know?
Well, the answer is yes, I am. And when I'm not, I toss it all into AutoCAD.
I used to have AutoCAD, but I don't have access to it anymore. So, but do you have any experience with using a Stanley 240 type? 242 type, 342 type, yeah, on a flush mounted door. Have you ever experienced that, or do you have any thoughts on that? And we've done it several times in the past, and here's what the upshot is. When you put the 242 in a flush mount situation, it works with the using the instructions on the overlay mount, which is to say inside neither the bracket for the stop nor the bracket that sits on the back of the door are inset. They are surface mounted, and it creates, when you close the door from the closed side, a gap of about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch between the door and the. What happens if you? Do you know what happens if you inset those? If you mortise those into the face of the door and to the side stop? Does it change the geometry of the pivot in the face of the door or the back of the door or something?
No, geometry doesn't change.
The only thing. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
The only thing that would change on the geometry is the distance of the pivot from the face of the door. The pivot center point to the face of the door. I think that's the only thing that would change
at all. Your question is, is there any problem if I take what is an overlay application and do it as an inset, if we're using cabinet door terms?
That is correct. Using an inset or flush door. These flush doors are nice because they disappear into the wall, and in this new situation, that's exactly what they want. It just becomes a piece of the wall.
Yeah. So depending on the door thickness, which wouldn't
1 3/8. 1 3/8 is standard interior hard. It's a solid core slab, 1 3/8, 6/8 door.
Yeah, depending on the door thickness, if it were to be something that you were installing something significantly thicker, like if you had applied molding, you'd have to start to think about the margin between what would be the strike side and the door. But
yep.
I don't, There'd really be no trouble with insetting this. Depending on the inset and depending on the margin, depending on the bevel that you put on that side, I don't see any trouble at all. But I think it's the long way around. I mean, you're going to have to add a hanging strip. And at that point, sauce is just a superior, solution for this. And then for that matter, you could also consider, potentially the 341. And why not just use the 340?
Because they have...
Oh, for the floor. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course.
They have a floor problem. And in the situation we're looking at right now, the sauce, the way the opening has already been built, unfortunately, the sauce would land in, about half of it would land in drywall.
Yeah. Okay. So Tectus makes a hinge that gives you a much larger E dimension that you may be able to make work. While it's a much more expensive hinge, it is concealed. But I would look at the 341. That is probably just a lot less work.
Isn't the 341 a floor mount for the bottom pivot?
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay. I will look at the 341. Okay, now, okay. So let me ask you another question. Is Stanley still making the 342?
Yeah, I got them in stock. And
I
know I'll be able to monetize this conversation with an order. And yes, I have them in stock.
Can you send me, let me go. Are you in a position to take an order?
Yes.
Right. Okay, great. Let me get my wallet.
What do you want, the 342?
Yeah, I think so. It's because it is a lot of work, but we've used them before, and Kristen and Peter will know how to put them in. Hold on one second. Okay, hold on one second. So,
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.